to pay the way. Baruch haba B'Shem Yahuah, Hallelujah. Baruch haba b'shem Yahuah, Hallelujah. Baruch haba b'shem Yahuah, Hallelujah. Baruch haba b'shem Yahuah. Baruch haba b'shem Yahuah, Hallelujah. 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 Baruch haba b'shem Yahuah. Baruch haba b'shem Yahuah. Hallelujah. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Heard the word of Yahuah say, come to me, for I am the way. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. In my weak and darkest night, the word of Yah will be my light. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. You wanna get to Shammai, I'll tell you how. Keep your hand on the gospel plow. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. If that plow stays in your hand, will land you straight in the promised land. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Talk about me as much as you please. I'll talk about you on my knees. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. When I get the Shammai, will sing and shout, but nobody there who will put me out. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, keep on holding on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, keep on holding on. Keep your hand on that plow. Keep your hand on that plow. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep holding on, hold on. You got to hold on, hold on.
Yahuah. Want to say shalom to you all. Love you too, baby. Want to say shalom to you all, Mashpaka. It is great to be here today. It is great to see each and every one of you on this day. I want to greet you all in the great name of Yahuah. We give him thanks and praise indeed for the opportunity to be here once again. We truly barak the name of Yahuah today. As we prepare to begin, we're going to open up in prayer. We're having some difficulties, Mashpaka, with broadcasting to YouTube. So many of our family who would normally be joining us via YouTube. Unfortunately, it seems as if they might be having some trouble doing so today. We do have the live stream on Facebook, but I'm currently, my computer is telling me that I'm live streaming on YouTube via two different sources because the one program that I'd normally use, it's not showing up, and so I went to the YouTube live stream program and I started that program, and both programs are telling me that they're live streaming, but neither one of them is actually showing on YouTube. So it might show up later on. The recording might show up later on. I don't know why it wouldn't be showing live. All my settings are the way that they should be, but it's telling me that I'm live streaming, but it's not showing up on YouTube, at least not for me. If anybody, yeah, so it's not just for me, but it's obviously not showing up on YouTube for one reason or another. The other day, last week, something interesting happened because it did the same thing. It showed me that I was live streaming, but then I checked YouTube and it wasn't there, but then later on it showed up on YouTube. So whatever it is that they're doing, I don't know. They're doing what they do, but nonetheless, we're gonna continue. I am just a bit disheartened that we do have family out there who do look forward to being able to join us via the YouTube live stream on a weekly basis, but unfortunately, that's not happening as of right now. Maybe things might change a little bit later on. We will see. We will see. But we're gonna press forward nonetheless. We're gonna open up in prayer. Yes, I'm sure they probably could come to fuse, but getting the word to them is something else, because if they're not currently able to hear us, nor to see. So it's difficult getting the word to them concerning how to join us on Fuse. But again, if I'm just going to put this in the video, and you know what, I'm going to take a moment today also. I have a few things that I'd like to do today. I'd like to send a shout out to all the people all over the world who do join us, who listen to these videos and these recordings, and so from some of whom I hear from and some of whom I do not. But I'm going to put the map up on the screen and just go through the map here today and give just a warm shout out to the Mashpaka that join this fellowship from time to time, and listen to these videos and share in the fellowship. So I want to take a moment to highlight that today, even though, again, this might show up later on YouTube. Currently it's not showing up. Excuse me, guys. Currently it's not showing up, but nonetheless, we want to take a moment to do that today. But before we do anything else, family, I want to take some time. We're gonna pray, but let me go to I've got a whole lot of stuff open here. What is all this? Okay, let's see. No. Okay, I'll leave that be for now. I don't know why all that's showing up there, but anyway, we're gonna open up in prayer. And yes, by the way, I want to extend again on behalf of on behalf of myself and the entire assembly, the entire Mashpaka, we want to extend our condolences to you, Akut Mahalia. And as you said, sadly, our Akut Mahalia lost her stepmother um, very recently. And I saw your post on Facebook, I believe last night, Akut. And so we want to extend our deepest condolences to you and to your mashpaka. Okay, so we're going to open up in prayer, and I want to just take a moment here to, what is this? Google Hangout is sharing. What is this? Okay, all right. So I have several programs running here today, trying to trying to piece it all together in hopes that it would work. But we're having some difficulties. Okay. Nonetheless, it is my hope, again, like I say, that this will show up a little bit later on. As we prepare to begin today, though, I'm going to go to the book of Tehillim. And I'm going to read I believe I want to read from Tehillim 83, is it? As we prepare to get started. Tehillim 83 is our cry before Yahuah today as we prepare to go before Him in fellowship and in prayer and petition. O Elohim, do not remain silent, do not be speechless, and do not be still, O Al. For look, your enemies have make an uproar, and those hating you have lifted up their head. They craftily plot against your people and conspire against your treasured ones. They have said, come and let us wipe them out as a nation, and let the name of Yasharal be remembered no more. For they have conspired together with one heart. They have made a contract against you. The tents of Adum and Yashma'al, Moab and Hagar, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, Phalashat with the inhabitants of Zor. Ashur also has joined with them. They have helped the children of Lut, Salah. Do to them as to Madian, as to Sisera, as to Yabin, as to Wadi Kashan, who perished at Andar, that is, who have became as dung for the ground. Make their nobles like Orab, and like Zahab, and all their princes like Zaba and Zalmunna, who have said, let us take possession of the pastures of Elohim for ourselves. O my Elohim, make them as whirling dust, as stubble before the wind, as a fire consumes a forest, and as a flame sets mountains on fire. So pursue them with your whirlwind and frighten them with your storm. Fill their faces with shame and let them seek your name, O Yahuah. Let them be ashamed and alarmed forever, and let them become abashed and perish. And let them know that you, whose name is Yahuah, you alone are the Most High over all the earth. Halahu Yahuah. Praise Yahuah. Praise Father Yahuah. Abba Yahuah, we give you thanks and praise. Truly there is none like you. We barak your great name today. We turn our faces toward your set-apart place today, giving you honor and esteem, rejoicing in your goodness and being thankful for your great compassion and for your mercy. Abba Yahuah, as we come before you today, we cry out to you with one heart and with one voice. Father, we find ourselves in a place because of our disobedience. We find ourselves in a place of oftentimes great turmoil, great chastisement, great suffering. Abba Yahuwah, in spite of that, you have shown mercy. You have been merciful to us. We find ourselves in a place of confusion. Your people are confused. Abba Yahuwah, we have been stripped of a knowledge of you, a knowledge of self, a knowledge of your word. But Father, we know also that we are in a time of awakening. And we pray that you would continue to awaken your people. We pray that Yasharal would arise and its enemies be scattered. We pray today in particular, Yahuwah, over our children. We pray, Yahuwah, even as our Akut Mac has spoke with her this morning, and she expressed the great burden she has for our children, the burden that you have placed on her heart for our children. Father, I pray that you would be merciful. When we look around us and we look at the generations that come after us, Abba, like your word says, we wonder if when you appear, will you find belief in the earth if you should tarry? We pray, Yahuwah, that you would arrest our children. We pray, Father, that you would reveal yourself to them as only you can. We pray for the young of Yasharal, Father, whose teeth are on edge from the sour grapes eaten by their parents. I pray, Yahuwah, that you would be merciful, that you would redeem them, that you would secure and preserve them. We know, Father, that 2/3 of your people have been and will continue to be destroyed. But Abba, I pray for your elect. I pray, Yahuwah, that you would extend mercy, that you would awaken them even in their youth. Father, you said that even a little child will lead your people. And so I pray that you would raise up young ones, little ones, that you would give them wisdom and knowledge, understanding. I pray that you would preserve them. I pray, Yahuwah, that you would help them to stand in the midst of the den of lions, that they would be bold and courageous and that they would be protected. I pray, Yahuwah, that you would close the mouth of the lions. I pray, Father, that you would lead, guide, and direct. I pray, Yahuwah, that you would raise up an army to yourself. I pray that your word would go forth and that it would pierce the heart of your people. I pray, Yahuwah, for those who are mourning, for those who grieve, for those who are afflicted. Father, for those who are being persecuted for your name's sake. I pray in particular today also for my Aki Yahakub and Kut, for the Grisels, Father, whose children have been taken from them, and how difficult that must be. I pray, Yahuwah, that you would give them strength. I pray, Yahuwah, that you would bring restoration and healing. I pray, Yahuwah, that you would preserve the mind of their children, because the wicked is not concerned with what happens when they rip families apart, with the long-lasting impact and effects that it have on those children. The wicked is not concerned, but Yahuwah, I pray that in your mercy, that you would extend mercy. I pray that you would heal. Father, I pray that you would protect and that you would restore. I pray for Yasharal, wherever scattered today. I pray, Yahuwah, that you would strengthen your people, that we would be united in you, Yahuwah, that we would seek you with our whole heart, that we would seek you with every desire. I pray, Father, that you would continue to bring us together as one, that we would think as one, that we would act as one, that we would mobilize as one. Halahu Yahuwah. Father, I pray that you would favor the works of our hands, Yahuwah. Give us strength, and let flesh and sinew come back to these bones that have been dry for so long. Let them be regathered, and let that tree that have been broken, that branch that have been broken, bring it back, heal it as one nation. I pray, Father, that you would barak this time, that you would barak your word, that you would barak our hearts and our minds. I pray, Yahuah, that you would heal hurting hearts and divided minds. Feed us, I pray, as only you can. Barak every household represented here today, every adult, every child. As parents, teach us that we may teach our children. Guide us that we may guide them. Lead us, I pray, Yahuah. Help us not to lean on our own understanding, but in all our ways, help us to sincerely acknowledge you, acknowledge your word, acknowledge your way. Bring clarity to us, I pray, that we may not walk in our own way. Do this, Yahuah, in Yahusha's name. Bring forth your word today with power. Bring it forth with clarity, and bring it in authority, the authority that can only come from Yahuah. Let it arrest the hearts and minds and thinking of your people. Let us be captivated by your word, and then let us go forward and walk in them. Live in them. Abba, be esteemed, Yahuah. Let the name of Yahuah be praised. Let the name of Yahuah be esteemed. Halalhu Yahuah. Praise Yahuah. Halalhu Yah. Praise Yahuah. Praise Yahuah. Once again, we barak the great name of Yahuah today. It is indeed a barakah to be here today, family. We give Yahuah praise, honor, and esteem. Again, I want to express my regret for the difficulties that we're having concerning the family that would normally join us via YouTube, being able to join us today live anyway, because of the difficulties that we're currently experiencing. Last week it was the same thing, and then eventually it connected. I don't believe that any of this is by coincidence nor by accident. Nonetheless, it is what it is. What I want to do here today, though, family, is take a moment, and I intended to do that live for our family who join us via YouTube. But I want to take a moment to send a great big shout out to those who join us from week to week, via YouTube, and YouTube in particular. Okay, so what I wanted to do, because YouTube gives us a map of people who join us and from where they join us. And so I wanted to take a moment this week to just give to acknowledge those who join us each week, and those who come to the channel and they watch. As a matter of fact, it seemed as if it might be working now. It seemed as if it might be working. I'm gonna try here, family. Let's see. Well, I see two of them on here. Which one should I click on? It says 5 months ago. Let's see. Let me try something. See if this is live. Okay, taking a minute. Okay, I think we are live. Okay, I want to say shalom to Akut Anitra. Wonderful to see you, Akut. Shalom to you, Akut. So I'm going to take a moment here to I'm going to greet the family here on Fuse the Family. YouTube seemed to be working now. We want to greet the family on Facebook also. I'm going to say shalom to you all, Mashbakan. I'm going to take a moment also to just greet the family from all around the world today who usually join us via YouTube. So I want to put that map on the screen, and I just want to go over that and give a big shout out to the family wherever you are. Okay, so family, Akut Lamanica, that's Akut. I want to say shalom to you, Akut, and also to my Ashai wife there. I want to say shalom to my Aki King Ed. I want to say shalom. To Sharia, I say shalom. Let me come back to Fuse for a moment. It seems as if YouTube is finally broadcasting live, family. So praise Yahuah for that. Okay, let me go back to Fuse for a moment. And bear with me here, please. Okay, let me take a moment to greet the family here on Fuse. I want to say shalom to Aki Trevin. Wonderful to see you, Aki. Also to my Aki Willie Ual Yahu. Great to see you as always, my Aki. Also to Akut Vernice. I want to say shalom greetings to you today, Akut, in the name of Yahuah. To Akut Sharon, I say shalom to you. Wonderful to see you as always. To Akut Shar, I say the same. Shalom to you, Akut, in the great name of Yahuah. And also to Akut Renee. Greetings to you, Akut, my Aki Patrick. Great to see you, Aki. I haven't seen you. I know you've been on Facebook. I know you've been having some trouble with your phone, I think. But great to see you here on Fuse today, also, Aki, and also to Akut Mahalia, to Aki Keith, to Akut Joan, to Akut Gina. Greetings to you all, Mashpaka. Great to see you. Wonderful to see you. Aki Franklin. And I see Aki Ed there again. Aki Delayahu, to Akut Carmen, to Akut Atalia, Akut Amuna, Akut Al Yashaba, Akut Mary, Akut Sharia, Akut Jeanette, and Aki Matatyahu. Greetings to you, Mashpaka. Great to see each and every one of you today. It is indeed a baraka to see all of you. Also, now, let me take a moment and do what I said I was going to do. Take a moment to just give a shout out to the family who join us via and of course Akut Anitra there on YouTube. I want to take a moment. This thing says 5 months ago, so if you're looking for the live stream today on YouTube, it's probably going to tell you 5 months ago, something with the dating there. But let me take a moment. I want to pull up the map here on YouTube. I just want to take a moment. I said I'd take a moment to just give a big shout out to our family here in the States and around the world that continue to join us a week to week and month to month. Those who have subscribed to the channel and those who watch without subscribing. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you, family, and to praise Yahuah for you and for putting in you a desire to seek Him. And so give me just a moment here while I pull up these metrics, and just I'm going to use them just to greet the family. Okay. Bear with me if you would, please. How do I do this again? Bear with me just for a second. Okay, let's see. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Trying to remember how to get to this thing. Just bear with me, if you would, family. Wow. Okay, what am I doing? Why isn't it coming up? Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Bear with me just for a sec. Thought I had this together. Thought I had it together. Hold on. Thought I had it together. Okay, let's do this. All right. Okay, so let me begin by I'm just gonna we're gonna take a quick trip around the world here, family. Try to locate where we have family that join us from in different parts of the world. Okay, so in Chile, I want to say shalom. If you know, this is a historical uh, thing here, but obviously we have people that join us from different parts of the world, and I just want to take a moment to acknowledge them today, the family who join us from wherever Yahuah is drawing his people from. So in Chile, I want to say shalom to Chile. I want to say shalom to Peru. I want to say also shalom to Brazil. Also want to greet the family over there in Colombia that joins us. And also going into a little further into South America, Costa Rica. I want to say shalom to the family in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is where, for example, aquí when Yahuah is, if I recall correctly. Guatemala, I want to say shalom in Mexico. We greet Mexico. And also here in the States, I'm going to come to that momentarily. In South Africa, I want to say shalom to South Africa, Madagascar, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia. Okay, I'm trying to move through this pretty quickly here. Where we at? I missed something. Egypt, Spain, France, the United Kingdom, Germany, Austria, Poland, Romania, Greece, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Mayaki Matadyahu, for example, Pakistan, India, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Australia, Japan, let's see, Sweden. I'm skipping over some countries here. Estonia. Okay, let's go over here. Canada. Okay, so those are, I might have missed one or two here or there, but those countries around the world, that people that join, that come to this channel from those places, we want to say shalom to you. I want to say also to the Rabbah for stopping by as often as you do. That's within the last 28 days, and every month just about we see a similar pattern. To the family in California, we have quite a few people in California that that listens to the broadcast from California each month. I want to say shalom to California. I want to say also shalom to Oregon, to Washington State, also to Idaho, to Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Arizona, Mexico, New Mexico, that is, Colorado, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota. We did that, Montana, Wisconsin, Michigan, in the Northeast, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, we said that already, right? Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. Okay, want to say shalom to you all, family. Want to say to the Rabbah for for joining us, for coming to this channel, for participating in the fellowship, and also want to encourage the family to continue. If you watch some of the lessons on these channels that are a baraka to you, and you feel like other people need to hear them, then by all means, I encourage you to share them. We give Yahuah the praise and the honor for taking His word all around the world and throughout the states, because I certainly don't have the resources to go to these places, but because of Yahuah's using technology, His word is getting out, not just from this assembly, but from many other assembly. I mean, in the past 28 days, there have been 3,154 views of this channel. Sometimes that goes up, sometimes it goes down a little bit. And that's not much considering some channels, but nonetheless, it is indeed a great number when you consider what it is that the channel represent. Because when it comes to truth and Yahuah, there is not a great big audience. You see, there isn't a great big audience. If it's a bunch of nonsense, then the views are in the millions, you see. But so we just praise Yahuah for this opportunity, and we praise Him for those that He brings, and we're able to share in this fellowship together. So I want to just send a big shout out to our viewers and fellow assembly members around the world. Want to say shalom to you all, mashpaka. And Delaware, yes, Delaware, Tudaaki, Delaware. I skipped over Delaware there, and I probably skipped over a few. I want to apologize for that, but I just wanted to take a moment to give a big shout out to Yahuah's people wherever scattered. And that map gives a picture of just how scattered we are, you know. So we give Yahuah praise, honor, and esteem. When you think that we can be seated somewhere here, and yet the word of Yahuah is reaching out to people all over the place, Madagascar, South Africa, just all over the place. We give Yahuah praise, honor, and esteem for that. Halahu Yahuah. All right, Mashpaka. So as we prepare to begin today, you'll notice that we're going back to the book of Proverbs, the book of Mashali. And by the way, I want to open up the microphone also at some point here today too. But we're coming to the close of Black History Month. And so I wanted to take a moment to read an article, in honor of the history of our people. It's not an article that will bring fuzzy feelings. It's not a feel-good article, but it's about sharing the experience and the history of our ancestors. Okay, you know, there are people who criticize Black History Month, the existence of Black History Month. You have black people who criticize it. You have whites who criticize it. You have government representatives who criticize it. You have states who criticize it. You have local government of all sorts that criticize it. You know, whatever the case is, I can understand. Our oppressors criticizing it. What I can't understand is black people criticizing it, because the fact of the matter is that you know, it wasn't whites. It wasn't their idea to put together a time, to establish a time where we would come to know our history. It really wasn't their idea. Left it to many. There shouldn't be no time where we come to know our history. The reality is that many people are yes, but you know, we've got to look at it from the perspective of this, right? So some people say they put it in the shortest month of the year, so-called, right? They put it in the shortest month, but it's not that. Yeah, they may have selected the shortest month, but we're not limited to that, right? We're not limited to that. And you think about the fact that it even a so-called month in the on the Gregorian calendar, on the pagan calendar, is dedicated to educating people on Black history. That didn't just happen without a fight. It took some people really fighting to make that happen. It took some people fighting to create Black History Week, right? It took a lot of fighting to create Black History Week, to create a week of awareness concerning the history of our ancestors, the sufferings of our ancestors, and the accomplishment of our ancestors. It took a great fight, you see. And then it took even greater fight to change it from 1 week to 1 month. You see what I'm saying? And so our responsibility is to try to carry on the fight, right? Our responsibility is to carry on the fight, not to critique the fight, not to criticize the fight. Oh, they all they got is 1 month. Well, it's up to us to make sure that it carries on for more than a month. You see what I'm saying? But as the case with many of our people, what we find often is that you can find a whole lot of people who will criticize a thing, but very few people who are willing to do anything about anything. You see what I'm saying? Give me just 1 second. I'm getting some feedback from a microphone. I'm gonna try to get stop that feedback. I'm gonna mute all mics here, family. Give me a sec.
All
Okay.
participants are muted.
Yes. So, you know, it's interesting. What's interesting about us as a people is that we can quickly come together to tear down one another and to tear down the efforts of one another and the accomplishments of someone. But it is the most difficult thing to get us to work together to do anything. So, but the moment somebody does something, you can find a whole lot of us who can jump on that one person to try to pull them down. But trying to get the same number of people to come together to build something, that is the most difficult challenge that we face, and that we have ever faced, and that we will continue to face. Our mindset have got to change. Our attitude have got to change. So, I praise those who had the guts to stand up and to try to make a difference, even if they were in some kind of error. At least they tried. And so I praise those who stand up, who have the guts to stand up. I praise them. I applaud them. You see, and if they didn't stand up, we would have been in a whole lot worse situation today. You see, if they didn't stand up, we would be in a whole lot worse shape today. And that's just the bottom line. You see, so instead of tearing down their accomplishments, what our people must do is work to make better their accomplishments and to build on their accomplishments. You see, now, what I wanted to share with you today. So, being this time period. And of course, family, that with me, Black history, so-called Black history, is not just about a month for me. I talk about the history of melanated people all the time, because it's an ongoing thing. It's a day-to-day struggle, and the struggle is real. And so I talk about it all year long, but I also like to even in sharing during this time, for me, it's about acknowledging the efforts of those who have gone before us, you see, and trying to build on their effort instead of just criticizing and tearing them down, and not lending anything to it, All right. I saw a post this morning on Facebook. I was on there shortly. I saw a post on there. This guy, he's a melanated gentleman. Seemed think, if I recall correctly, a brother of Yasharal, he he's into finances. He's into finances. He has a business. And so he had posted some things on there talking about all of the ideas that our people have, but nobody want to work together. So we have all of these ideas. Everybody have an idea, but nobody want to work together. And ideas by themselves is only the first part of anything. If you don't do anything with the ideas, you will accomplish nothing. You see, you can dream all day long, but until you get busy and begin to build the dream, you see, then nothing happens. All you're left with is a dream, you see. So we can't just be dreamers. We must also be people who are willing to do something with the vision, the dream that Yahuah has given, you see. Now, so what I want to do today, family, I want to take a moment before we continue, and I just want to read. I want to read this article. I'm going to be putting it on the screen. The article is titled. The article is titled "The Life and Trial," the hanging Captain Morgan. Hanging Captain Morgan, the life and trial of an American slave trader. Okay, this is and of course you'll see up here, this is from this gentleman. He's a radio host. He's a black owned radio host here in Philadelphia. But as you notice, the subheading they gave to it here is America's only execution of a slave trader. Michael Cord, this is Michael Cord's website. America's only execution of a slave trader, and the article is titled "Hanging Captain Morgan, the Life and Trial of an American Slave Trader." You know, the fact of the matter is, family, that of course many blacks, many melanated people are ignorant to this day, are ignorant of our history. And that's just a fact. Many of us are ignorant of our history. And the truth of the matter is, too, that many whites are ignorant of our history. And some of them are ignorant of it and don't care that they're ignorant of it, don't care to know it or whatever. But some of them also think the way they do because they too, like us, have been lied to. You see, if they really knew the facts, then they would think perhaps some of them would think differently. But some of them think the way they do because they really don't know the facts. I remember when I first started at the job where I am now, I was having a conversation with one of the white men there. And I think he brought up the conversation. But what he said to me was, black people have never built anything. Black people have never invented anything, is what he said to me. And the fact of the matter is, nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. The majority of inventions came from black people. And that's a fact. I'm not saying that because I'm black. I'm saying that simply because it's a fact. You see, the majority of inventions came from black people. The problem is that they were stolen, ripped off, you see. But there are many white people out there who actually think that black people have never invented anything and that black people have never built anything. So there are many white people out there who thinks that. But you know what's sad? They're probably, from a percentage perspective, from a percentage perspective, you could probably say there are as many blacks out there who think the same. There are as many blacks out there who think the same. One of the reasons why there's so much hopelessness among our people and our young people in particular, and even older people. One of the reasons why there's so much hopelessness is because many black people sincerely believe that black people are incapable of accomplishing anything. That black people are incapable of doing anything because black people have never done anything. Because we were taught that we are from the dark continent. We were taught, I know that I was taught in school that I was from the dark continent. Anybody else here have been taught that? They don't tell you directly that you're from the dark continent. They say Africa is the dark continent. Okay? They say Africa is the dark continent. And what they're telling you is that you are from the dark continent. In school is what they tell you. And when you're told that in school, and you understand what the dark continent means, it means the continent of ignorance. It means the continent of savages. It means the continent of cannibals. It means everything negative. And when you are told that you're from the dark continent, you're told that your ancestors did not know how to read nor write. That it is us who taught them how to read and write. When you're told that as a little kid, then when you're not challenged, when challenges come up, the first thing you want to do is you want to just skip out. After all, we have never accomplished anything. It's not in us to accomplish anything. We were made to be slaves. We were created to be slaves. So they teach you that in school, and then you go to church and they teach you the same thing in church. And so that's why you have so many kids and grown people who are hopeless and who don't achieve anything because they were told that they cannot achieve anything. You see. But it's important for us to tell ourselves, number one, to know our history, and also to reinforce, to remind ourselves that we have accomplished great things and we can accomplish great things. It's important for us to know that and to assure ourselves of that fact and to teach our children that fact. To let them know that no matter how difficult it might be to stand up, to rise up and to do something great, that you can do it. You might have to work 10 times harder than the next person because of the way the system is built to keep you down, but you can do it and know that you're not the first, but others have done it, even when the odds were even more greatly stacked against them. You see. So it's important for us to know that. But so what's sad is that it's not just that many whites are ignorant of our history, but what's even more sad is that many melanated people are just as ignorant, and in many cases even more ignorant than some whites of our history. There are whites out there who know our history but willfully work to hide it from us. And then there are those who just don't know and think they know. Okay? So one of the reasons why I'm reading this text today, and one of the reasons why I continue to talk about our history, is because there are people out there who are woefully ignorant. Woefully ignorant. There are people out there who think that we shouldn't even talk about black history. I used to be one of those people. And you know what's amazing? As a kid, that's not how I was. As a kid, I had people who were teaching me my history, at least to some extent, as a kid. But then there came a point where I guess the education system got a hold of me, and just society as a whole got a hold of me. And I began to think that it wasn't important. And then Yahuah had to slap me and wake me back up because I was being lulled to sleep. You see. So I really yeah, I really meant to say woefully ignorant. Woefully. Woefully, maybe just woefully ignorant. You see. Now, yes, indeed. So, I want to take a moment to read this. If there, and I know we have family in Yasharal who skin complexion are different than mine, but you have genuine people of Yasharal, genuine family of Yasharal that are Caucasian. They have been grafted in. You have genuine people, and you have people who think they're of Yasharal, Caucasian people who think they're of Yasharal, but they're not, because they're biased. You see, you can't be Yasharal if you have not truly accepted Yasharal. You see, so I praise Yahuah for the honest, for those who are sincerely Yasharal. And I pity the fool who think they are Yasharal but are not. And who say they're Yasharal but are not. I pity the fool. I talk about these things and my intent is not to be offensive, you see. But the truth is going to offend some people. That's bottom line. Family, I care about people no matter what their color. I wasn't brought up to be biased against people. I just want to say this before I even go any further. I wasn't brought up to be biased against people because of their skin color. Even though, and for most black people, for the majority of black people, that's just not the case. Black people, for the most part, don't just hate people. For the most part. I'm not saying that you don't have some hateful black people out there. You do. Okay, but for the most part, black people tend to be more trusting and to be more giving than most white people would ever be. You see. And we just weren't brought up to look at people from that perspective and to hate people because of the color of their skin or anything like that. You see what I'm saying? But so when I speak about these things, I'm not speaking from the perspective of hatred, of hating people because of the color of their skin. You see what I'm saying? Now, I must be honest, I hate the wicked. I hate the wicked. I don't like the wicked. When I see the wicked in their wickedness, sometimes I wish I was Yahuah. I would strike them dead, I would strike them dead, wake them up and strike them again. I hate the wicked. You see. But yeah, double strike. Even triple. You see, I hate the wicked. I do. You see, I am also willing to forgive the wicked if the wicked turn from his wicked ways. I'm not one to carry a grudge. If I see where somebody sincerely is repentant, even when they've done wickedly, I'm willing to forgive that one. You see. But if I see where you're wicked and you only justify your wickedness, I hate the wicked. I hate the wicked. I do. Me hating the wicked don't make me a racist because I hate the wicked, whether the wicked is white or the wicked is black or the wicked is brown or the wicked is whatever. I just don't like wicked people. You see. and also to speak the truth about racist people, people being racist. I'm not talking about, because you have people out there who don't understand. You have people out there, when you speak the truth, they accuse you of being a racist. Speaking the truth about injustice, about wickedness, about racism don't make one a racist. You see. But you have wicked people out there who try to flip the script. Anyway, today, family, I just want to read this real quick. I want to read this bit of history. And it is my hope that it will serve to educate my people, and it will serve to educate white people. Okay, I'm talking about, when I say white people, I'm talking about those who are out there acting wickedly against our people, thinking wickedly against our people, and yet they really don't know the truth. You see, and they don't even know why our people are the way they are, how they came to be the way they are, so on and so forth. I want to read this article. Okay, so this article, The Life and Trial of an American Slave Trader, Hanging Captain Gordon. I think I spelled that wrong in the title. This Tuesday, this past Tuesday, okay, it just went past, okay. This article was written by a Philadelphia lawyer and radio personality, Michael Cord. This Tuesday, this past Tuesday that just passed, February 21st. This Tuesday, I'm gonna change the words here, because he was writing from the perspective of the from a future tense. Okay, so I'm gonna change it to past tense because it just happened. This Tuesday was exactly, this past Tuesday was exactly 155 years to the very day that a man was executed following conviction for slave trading. It happened on February 21st, 1862, and it was the first and only time such an execution ever happened in America. That's important. Nathaniel Gordon, a 36-year-old seaman from Portland, Maine, was in the slave shipping business. On August 7th, 1860, after docking alongside the Congo, now known as the Zaire River, at Shark's Point on the west coast of Africa, he loaded 897 African human beings, consisting of 172 men, 162 women, and 563 children, all ranging from 40-year-old adults to 6-month-old infants, onto his ship called Erie. By the way, he preferred children because, as court records show, they could not rise up to avenge his cruelties. Not only was such wickedness a crime against humanity, it was also surprisingly a crime against U.S. federal law, specifically the piracy law of 1820, that classified slave trading and also ship robbing as piracy, which was punishable by death. Section 4 states that piracy includes the placing onto a ship any Negro or mulatto not held to service by the laws of either the states or territories of the United States, with the intent to make such Negro or mulatto a slave. I got to stop here and explain that, what I just read. So the piracy laws of 1820 states that it was illegal for anyone to place anybody on a ship or to steal anyone from a ship, Negro or mulatto. A mulatto is a person who is a Negro mixed with white. Okay? So it was illegal for anyone to place any Negro or mulatto on a ship with the intent of making them a slave. Okay? That's the law that they made. Now, there's a little bit of trickery with that law. So the law of 1820 said that it was illegal for anybody to put anybody on a ship with the intent of making them a slave. Okay? Now, the law then supposedly protect you from being put on a ship as a slave, but then the law also leaves the gap where if you did put them on the ship with the intent of making them a slave, as long as you did not get caught on the seas with them and you managed to make it to land in America or in England or in any other one of the American or English territories, as long as you make it to land, then as long as you make it on to land, they're now slaves because you didn't get caught on the seas with them. Okay? So as long as you make it to land without being caught, they're slaves. Okay, that's important. Now, so let me read that again. Section 4 states that piracy includes the placing onto a ship of any Negro or mulatto not held to service by the laws of either the states or territories of the United States with the intent to make such Negro or mulatto a slave. So if they're not already a slave in America or any of the English territories, if you put them on a ship where they were free people, but you put them on a ship to make them a slave, that's illegal. That's what the law says. And Section 5 states that piracy additionally includes the delivering or selling from a ship of any Negro or mulatto not held to service by the laws of either the states or territories of the United States with the intent to make such Negro or mulatto a slave. The Erie, the name of the ship, was observed and later tracked down by the USS Mohican, which was part of America's African Slave Patrol, on August 8, 1860, and it was forced to unload its captives at Monrovia, Liberia, where a settlement established by the American colonization. Can somebody get this door, please? Okay, to let them know we can't. Okay. Okay. Where am I at? Okay, so the Erie was observed and later tracked down by the USS Mohican, which was part of America's African Slave Patrol, on August 8, 1860, and it was forced to unload its captives at Monrovia, Liberia, where a settlement established by the American Colonization Society had been set up for the free blacks from the US. Tragically, 30 men, women, and children died. Oh, well, let me read that again because I kind of made a mess of it. The Erie was observed and later tracked down by the USS Mohican, which was part of America's African Slave Patrol, on August 8, 1860. And it was forced to unload its captives at Monrovia, Liberia, where a settlement established by the American Colonization Society had been set up for the free blacks from the U.S. Tragically, 30 men, women, and children died, actually were murdered, due to the hellish conditions of the Erie during the 15-day journey to Liberia. So remember now, we started off, the ship had, this was a small ship. It had 897 slaves on board. 172 of them were men, 162 of them were women, and 563 of them were children. Of that 897, by the time the ship was intercepted by the USS Mohican, and redirected to Liberia, where America had set up a colony where they would send people that they freed, okay, as slaves. That goes back to the story of the that ship. What is the name of that ship again? The where they had the uprising on the ship. What was the name of that ship? You see the movie when he said, "Give us free." The Amistad, right? So from the Amistad trial, what they did was they set up a colony in Liberia where they would send those people on the Amistad, where they would send them as free people. And now they just uproot these people, displace them, send them to this colony where they didn't even really have any help. You see what I'm saying? But they set up this colony, and that's where they sent them. So when they intersected this ship, that's where they directed the ship to. That's where they took it to. And so by the time they got to Liberia, 30 men, women, and children died because of the conditions. Or he said murdered due to the hellish conditions on the Erie during the 15-day journey to Liberia. Speaking of hellish conditions, consider how Harper's Weekly, in its February 21st, 1862 edition, described it. Listen to this. The boat was overloaded with 897 Negroes and was so crowded that a person could squarely put his foot down without stepping on them. Okay? So the thing was so packed that a person had to stand, basically what he's saying is stand on only one feet. Couldn't put both of them down without stepping on the other one. The stench was fearful, and the filth upon their persons indescribably offensive. They were in great agony, with running sores and diseases of the most painful as well as contagious character that affected the entire load. Nastiness and wretchedness reigned supreme. Following a hung jury and retrial in New York City federal court, and based on overwhelming evidence against Gordon, despite the zealous representation of his dream team, featuring top-notch lawyers, headed by former Judge Gilbert Dean, he was found guilty on November 9, 1861, with an execution date set for February 7, 1862. And while ordering that sentence on November 9, trial judge William Davis Shipman said to Gordon, "Think of the cruelty and wickedness of seizing nearly 1,000 fellow beings who never did you harm, and thrusting them beneath the decks of a small ship, beneath a burning tropical sun, to die of disease or suffocation, or be transported to distant lands, and be consigned, they and their posterity, to a fate far more cruel than death. Think of the sufferings of the unhappy beings who you have crowded onto the Erie, of their helpless agony and terror as you took them from their native land. Remember that you showed mercy to none, including helpless children. The wicked shall not go unpunished." That's what the judge said to this man Gordon, Captain Gordon. Gordon's many supporters, including wealthy businessmen, petitioned President Abe Lincoln. President Abe Lincoln. I'm going to come to President Abe Lincoln in a second. Gordon's many supporters, including wealthy businessmen, petitioned President Abe Lincoln for a pardon. And although Lincoln did not believe in racial equality, he did oppose slavery primarily for political and military reasons. And he responded to their request by stating, I am kindly enough and can be moved to pity and to pardon the perpetrator of almost the worst crime that the mind of man can conceive or the arm of man can execute. But any man who can rob Africa of her people to sell into interminable bondage, I will never pardon. Let me explain what Abe Lincoln just said. Abe Lincoln said, this is Abraham Lincoln. By the way, Abraham Lincoln was a deep racist. It amazes me that Obama could praise Abraham Lincoln as one of our greatest heroes, because Abraham Lincoln was no hero to black people. Okay? Abraham Lincoln was so racist that he did not believe that black people and white people should breathe the same air. Okay? That's why Abraham Lincoln was against slavery. He did not believe that black people and white people should exist in the same space to even breathe the same air, because black people and white people are not equal. That's why Abraham Lincoln was trying to set up a colony in Africa, and he called black and white separate. He called his plan separate but equal. Okay? Abraham Lincoln was a vicious racist, in that he just didn't think black people were developed and that they weren't really fully people, you see. So it was what he did was what he wanted to do. If he had his way with all those people that were taken from Africa, he wanted to just ship them to one place and then let them fend for themselves. You see, that's what he wanted to do. He was no champion for black people. No, he was repudiated by black people. Okay, but what he said was, his problem with this man, he said, listen, I could pardon, and I would pardon any man who would do the most atrocious thing against another human being. But what I cannot pardon is a man who would go, and this is basically what he's saying, is a man who would go and take black people and bring them to intermingle with white people, regardless, he says, for the purpose of slavery. But basically what he's saying is, I can't forgive you, Mr. Gordon, because you have done the most atrocious thing. If you had only killed these people or whatever, I could pardon you. But the fact that you sought to get that door for me, Elijah. The fact that you sought to mix these people, to intermingle them within our society, for that I can pardon you. Who is it, Elijah? Okay. Okay, for that I can pardon you. All right. Now, it says Lincoln then rescheduled the execution date for February 21st, 1862 at 2:30 p.m. But on the evening of February 20th, Gordon cowardly attempted suicide using strychnine that a supporter had snuck into his Tombs jail cell. However, although it made him sick, he didn't die because physicians were immediately rushed to the scene. And because of that attempt, and in order to avoid a successful suicide, his execution time was sped up from 2:30 p.m. until noon. At 12:20 p.m. on February 21st, 1862, Gordon was escorted to the Tombs yard, where he was placed on the scaffold. After requesting and receiving a glass of brandy, a hood was placed over his head as he spinelessly cried out that he had not been treated fairly by the prosecutor. His protestations were ignored. The lever was pulled. His body dropped. His neck broke. He was left swinging and hanging for 15 minutes, and after being cut down and placed on a table, he was declared dead at 12:45 p.m. Although I thought and still think I oppose the death penalty for several reasons, including but not limited to my refusal to empower the state and federal governments with the legal authority to kill people, even evil people, I got to admit that the execution of slave traders and slaveholders seems like perfect justice. What do you think? And then he says, P.S. Don't rest in peace, Nathaniel Garden. And he said, instead, suffer in hell. All right, so that's an article from Michael Cord. He is a lawyer in Philadelphia. He's a defense lawyer in Philadelphia, and a radio personality on a Black Talk radio in Philadelphia. I wanted to share that bit of history, and that's the only person who have ever been brought to justice for their role in the slave trade. Now I want to talk a little bit about the law that got him caught up, okay, that got him hung. So the piracy law of 1820 declared that it was illegal for anybody to transport anybody that were not already in slavery by ship to the United States or its territories, or any of its territories. So this, many people still continue to do it. So basically when they made the law with a wink. Hey, we're going to put this law on the books, but if you can do it without getting caught, then hey, however many you can bring over, they're yours. They're your slaves. So even though the law was put on the books, these people continue to go to Africa and to bring slaves back, even though there was the piracy law on the books. As long as they didn't get caught, if they didn't get caught, and as long as they made land, whether it be in Cuba, Cuba, you notice now that it's talk about America and its territories. America and its territories. How many of us know that Cuba was one of America's territory? Cuba. And why do they hate Fidel Castro? Why do some people hate Castro so much? You have white people who have drank the Kool-Aid, and who some of them don't know, and some of them are just wicked. And you have black people who don't know either. Okay, you know why Fidel Castro was hated? You know why Castro was hated? Castro was a hero to our people. Okay, Castro was a hero to our people. He fought for our people. The reason why they hated Castro, the reason why they tried to kill Castro so many times, the reason why they bombed Cubans, the reason why America painted their planes to look like Cuban planes and bombed the markets in Cuba, and then say, look at what Fidel Castro did. When Castro didn't do it, America did it. And now it is known because they've been sued to release those documents. And so now we know that it was America that did it when they bombed the markets. The reason why they hated Castro so much was because Castro was opposed to their hatred. America had a puppet in Cuba. Cuba had become one of America's territories, and America was shipping slaves to Cuba. Okay? The people who hate Castro and the Cubans who hate Castro are those white racists who benefit from the slave trade and who benefit from the riches of the slave trade. You see, those are the ones who hated Castro. But anybody who had any kind of human heart in them hate Castro because Castro was fighting for the cause of the people. He was against slavery. He was against the brutality and the mistreatment and the apartheid system, the American and English apartheid system that was being used here in America and being used around the Caribbean and being used in Africa. He was against it and he fought against it. Fidel Castro was a hero. Fidel Castro is a hero, not a terrorist, as they tell you. You see. So that's a little bit of black history. All right. What we're gonna do, family, we're gonna take a break. And any comments or questions before we go to break? It's 2:50 something here. Normally we break at 2:45. Any comments or questions? Please go ahead, Aki Keith.
Shalom, Keith.
Shalom to you, Aki.
You know, a lot of people don't understand Abraham Lincoln did not free all the slaves.
Yeah.
He only freed some of the slaves. So the way history is taught is that he freed all the slaves, but when you go back in history and study, which our people do not do for some reason, they will find out that he didn't, like you said before, he didn't like us. He didn't want us to mingle with the white people. And he only freed some of the slaves. And it was only because it was a political move.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with us. But of course, we know that Yahuah is in all things.
Yes, indeed.
Ta-da.
Praise Yahuah. Tada, Aki, for sharing. And that's a fact. Praise Yahuah. Yes, he despised it. And many, of course, many do. All right. Any other comments or before we go, family? Yeah, I've never seen that skit, Dave Chappelle's skit. I've never seen that one. Is it on Abraham Lincoln, Akud Sharon? You know what? Let me just take a look at oh, and I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Let me just take a look at blind farmer who was blind but hated black people when he was black. It's a good one. Yeah. Great question, Akut Carmen. Well, that's the criminal injustice system for you. That's the criminal injustice system. You see, that's the criminal injustice system. We don't have a justice system. We have an injustice system. You see. Let me just take a peek at YouTube here before we go to break. Just want to make sure if the family have any, if there are any comments there that I'm not leaving you out. Family. Shalom to you, Akut Nakia. Okay. Yes, we do have 2 live streams open because I was just, they say a drowning man will clutch onto a straw. I was trying to find anything that would work. So, I didn't know which one would come up first. Eventually, they both became active. They took a while, unfortunately, but yeah. But so I guess both of them are working now. Let's see if I can find the other one. Okay, see if I see any comments there. Okay, I can't view the comments on this one. At least I don't recall how to.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead, Aki.
I just want to say, Shalom to Mashmaka. Looking forward to praise the Yahuah. Looking forward to a good study.
Praise Yahuah.
Shalom. Say, and Praise Yahuah. Shalom, shalom.
Praise Yahuah to the Aki, and shalom, shalom to you also, my Aki. All right. Well, family, we're going to prepare to take a break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to get to our study for today. Going back to the book of Mashali, chapter 18. We're we have a few more verses to go in chapter 18, then we'll go to chapter 19. Book of Mashali is indeed a baraka, a great study, a great lessons in wisdom for us to reflect on. May Yahuah, a thunderstorm in February. Well, I must say, like Akut Joan, we're in the Northeast, and family, it's been unreal. The weather has been unreal over the past few days. I mean, it was 70 something degrees yesterday. We're in February. Today, it's in the 60s, or probably close to 70s outside today. Where I'm at here, probably in the 60s, I think, is what they say. I haven't been outside. I think it's in the 60s or so today. The day before that, it's been crazy warm. You see insects showing up that you would only see in later spring. It's been something, but Donald Trump and his buddies said that global warming is a hoax. Now, by the way, too, talking about Donald Trump, have you seen what happened there with Muhammad Ali's son and his mom trying to go through the airport in Florida? Have anybody seen that, family? Yeah, well, they were, just going through the airport, and because of their last name, Ali, they were held and arrested. And that's we're living in the clans are in the White House, and so we see all kinds of ridiculous nonsense. There was a woman in Arizona awaiting emergency brain surgery, and ICE, immigration, whatever, police went and took her from the hospital. And this woman, what they're doing is, even people who have legal immigration status, if they came to the country legally and then gained immigration status, they could be arrested, even though they have legal status to be in the country now. They could be arrested, and that's what the Republic clans are doing. That's what the Republic clans are doing. I call them the Republic clans. The clan is in the house. Republic. Let me put it on the board. That's who they are. Republic clans. You see, that's what they're doing. Go ahead, Aki Keith.
And let me just say this: when it comes to the illegal immigrants, especially Mexicans, it's all about one thing. They already know in the future the Mexican people will outnumber everyone in America.
Yes.
The only way to cut that off, they got to come up with some kind of gimmick, and that's why they are doing what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And when you look, because wherever you see smoke, there's fire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's about. It has nothing to do with money. Mm-hmm. It has something to do with population. We cannot let you take over our system because you're going to put your man in, and then we're going to be on the outside. And they are not going to let that happen.
Absolutely, Aki. Wherever you see smoke, there's fire. You're absolutely right. And that brings in the subject of Russia. Why is Russia so much a part of the conversation? Why is Donald Trump so much in love with Russia? And that goes back to white supremacy. To the white supremacists, Russia is the torchbearer to the white supremacists. You see, because Russia is the fatherland. Everything, there's a reason for it all. You see, and the clan's in the house. The clan's in the house, and that's just the way it is. There's some wretched beast. All right. Well, we're going to take a break, family, and then we'll come back. I'm going to put some music on, and probably put a lesson on after the music. I'll see you in about 40 45 minutes. So it's 3:02 my time. About 3:40 3:45 we'll get started again. Okay? And we'll go to what's the name? To Book of Mashali, Proverbs chapter 18. Oh boy. Sorry about that, family. All right, we'll be stopping the live streams, family, and I'll be seeing you after the break. Okay, so see you at about 3:40 3:45, 40 to 45 minutes from now.